Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mrs. Shank Knits. My name's May and this is Knit With Me number 11. So what do we think of this wall now? When we first moved in, I put a row of bookcases along this wall, but I've been decluttering like something that declutters a lot, and now I'm down to just one bookcase. It's like over here. You can't even see it because it's off to the side, but anyway, so I didn't have a wall to jazz up at all in this room, and now I do, so it is a work in progress. Okay, so I was a little hesitant to sit down and do this today because I don't have any new FOs to share, and I'm not like that much farther along in any of my whips from last week, but I am encouraged by Mackenzie and her M to the Third podcast / Slack channel. She mentioned in her last episode that she felt a little unsure about sharing plans for something because like in the past she had maybe shared plans and then like changed them or decided against them or whatever, and that made her feel like uncomfortable about sharing new plans because they may change. And anyway, so TLDR, she's just going to share plans anyway, and there was a little discussion I guess in her Slack channel about it as well, and that just sort of reminded me that we are all just people knitting and making videos about it and living our lives, right? So if I show up today with a little progress on some whips and zero progress on some others, that's okay because you've probably all been there too. Yeah, and the whole point is the camaraderie of all of this, right? So I am wearing a special FO from 2 years ago. This is the super simple summer sweater, and it's very special to me because it's my very first sweater. So after 17 years of sock knitting, this was a very big deal for me. I knitted in Barocco Vintage, a blend of wool, nylon, and acrylic, and I loved knitting this so much. I picked this for my first pattern, my first sweater pattern, because I saw Dana from Yards of Happiness in her super simple summer sweater, and the matching one that she made for her dog Jellybean. She actually did, she didn't do two like solid colors. She did one solid color and one variegated, which gave a really neat effect. Anyway, so her making matching sweaters out of this pattern for herself and Jellybean made me want to make them for Nacho and I, and it's my profile picture literally ever since the first time we put these sweaters on. Like, how cute is this? So anyway, knowing I was going to make one for Nacho, a nice washable Barocco was where I landed. It's been like nice enough the past couple of days to wear just a sweater on my walks with Nacho. So of course we've been matching, and it's for sure one of my absolute favorite things. Okay, so there are no new FOs, but I already told you that. And there are lots of whips and a little progress on most of them. So I'll tell you right now, I did not touch my flow 4 cardigan this week. I mean, I did go back to see, I think I mentioned 2 weeks ago that I was knitting the first arm, and then last week I mentioned that I realized it wasn't the arm and that it was actually like a front panel. So I went back to check exactly what I had done to see if it was actually one of the front panels or if I had been doing some arm stuff in there too. So no, it is just a front panel, but I have not knitted on it at all. I'll show you a picture from the pattern page, the Ravelries, to remind you what it is I'm doing. I'm doing mine in brown with like a darker brown accent. I love the original colors here, but there is no way that I can wear white. Like, it's just not happening. I'm way too messy for that. So I'm just really looking forward to making more progress on this. But I have other pressing projects to finish first. This was actually my New Year's Eve cast on while watching Lord of the Rings. But since this is one of 6 whips, it's not done. So moving on. My second pair of Towie Myths by Susan Stats. I always forget her last name because to me she is KnitLib on Instagram. I mean, I'm sure she's KnitLib on Instagram to you too, but you know what I mean. So these guys are just about finished. They're actually a very quick knit, like done in a weekend, easy, no problem. I've taken forever because I've been filming a tutorial for them and I just want to get it exactly right. So like someone can watch it with a basic understanding of knitting and purling and then be able to make them. And of course I have to do it when the lighting is good, so slow going, but it is such a fun knit. The thumb gusset is made with lifted increases, and I finally started doing properly my lifted increases thanks to this pattern, and the whole thing otherwise is just like neat rows of ribbing. I'm knitting this holding 2 fingering weight yarns together, the 80/20 sock from Leo and Roxy in quartz, and then this one is the Knit Picks Bear Stroll, I think so, that I like dyed myself, which I did not do a wonderful job of, but you live and learn. So once I film the cast off for these, which is where I am now, that's like what I have left to do. I can't pick up the stitches for the thumb and do the thumb until I cast off the top. So I'm gonna cast off the top this afternoon and then do the thumb this afternoon too, and then I'll just whip through the second one. And then this will be an FO next week. Also have, let's put this away first. I also have 2 pairs of socks on the go. They're both 1 sock at a time. Like, I really like the 2 at a time method with Magic Loop, but it's also maybe a little like annoying at the joints. Like, you have to pull it tight, which anyway, so I need practice with it, but I just think it's perfect for vanilla socks or maybe something like that. So I don't want to hurt either of these patterns by doing them that way, because I'm not great at doing them that way. So first I'll show you the progress on my new wave socks. Okay, so this is the progress on my new wave socks by Sashiko Bergen. I love the combination of seeing the pattern come to life and the colors change. It's 9 rounds. Yeah, it's a 9-round repeat for each color. So you really just want to keep going to see the next color change happen. This pattern has both written instructions and charts. So whichever way you like to read a pattern, you're covered. I'm knitting them in really like a fun mix, I think, of sock yarns. I'm mixing Mondim with Riverside Studio Super Sock, and they go so well together. Like, it's hard to, I mean, obviously, I think you can see the difference in the texture. The Riverside is an 80-20 sock, and the Mondim are both 100% Portuguese wool. So they are different, but the same enough, and definitely the same weight. I just feel like they both have really nice stitch definition, and then on the rows where they join, they work really, really well together. Like, yeah, anyway, I just think they're so nice. So I started with a gray Mondim, and then I used the lighter of the 2 pinks first, and then the lavender, and now I'm just starting with the darker of the 2 pinks. I'm almost positive that the darker one is called Queenie, but I totally forget the name of the lighter one because it's been forever. I really love mixing the super socks together, which is why none of them have their labels, because as soon as I get one, I open it and I roll it into, you know, like I do it into a ball, and then I cast on something, because you can hold them together. I made a bunch of headbands last year. Really, you just like cast on as wide as you want it to be, and it's just ribbing. And then, like, that's it, just like a tube of ribbing. And then, you know, when you join them, you like twist one, so it has like that cute look to it, you know. Yeah, like I knit them on road trips tons a couple years ago, and I did them all by holding 2 Riverside Super Socks together. And they make like all kinds of amazing other colors when you mix 2 variegateds together. Also, this sock is my first in the M to the 3rd sock stash along, so that's exciting. Hopefully I'll get these done by the end of the month so they can count for March. And now this is the progress on my test sock. This is the Spring Bloom sock by the Knit Savvy. It starts with a stretchy cast on, and I went with the suggested old Norwegian cast on. It's like a funny looking, kind of complicated looking cast on, but it's nice and stretchy, which, I mean, obviously is a must for a sock. And then this is the front cuff detail. I love it so much. And there is this beautiful ribbing detail down the leg and along the top of the foot. And honestly, I keep messing it up. Like, it's not the pattern at all. It is totally me. I have a problem with ribbing. Like, I always have to undo it. It's ridiculous. So the neatest thing about this pattern is the gusset decreases. Like, I've been knitting socks for 19 years and I've never seen this before. Like, never. I don't know how I've never seen it. This is the thing. So the decreases actually happen under the foot. You can see one side is a little jacked and the other is pretty neat. Hopefully I'll have it down by the second sock. But yeah, I really like this construction. So anyway, and they're shorties, so they're kind of quick if you actually like just knit them. I'm looking forward to wearing them because I really like socks this length. I'm knitting them in the Forbidden Fibers sock in the Scarlet Witch colorway from when they did the Marvel themed sock yarn of the month club. It is super soft and really nice to actually wear. Like, it makes a really nice feeling sock. And it is it's nice to knit with too. It's an 80-20 mix, like the Riverside. And this one is sparkly. Okay, see sparkles in there. I actually want to say that all of the Marvel colorways were sparkly. I remember the green one for Gamora that I knit into socks for Chris's Uncle Glenn. They were sparkly, and Nebula's pretty sparkly too. It's like a purple and blue that I actually still have in my stash. I had it in my hand today when I went digging for something earlier. So anyway, so that is at least 3 of them that are sparkly. So I don't know for sure if they all were, but Forbidden Fibers makes some really nice sparkly yarns. Okay, so I'm moving on to my second test. So those socks, the Spring Bloom socks, were a test from the Knit Savvy. I hope I mentioned that. I'm sure I did. Yeah, I did. And this is the Mini Vee Tee, will be the Mini Vee Tee by Nicole Thorson. I'm in the home stretch. Once I split for the front and the back, I'm like 3/4 of the way done. So it's just about putting in the time in knitting now. I actually lost 2 days of this last week because I found these ridiculous mistakes in the ribbing, and I filmed them specifically to show you what is happening here. Clearly I end up off by 1 somewhere, maybe I do 2 knit stitches or 2 purl stitches. I mean, obviously that must be it because I have no drop stitches. So yeah, I followed a pattern and then I try to recover, which obviously I have to go back and actually do it properly to fix it. So if this was a dark chunky knit, it might not matter that much, but looking at this, this is what I mean when I say I have to redo ribbing on socks all the time. Larger gauges, I feel like I'm fine, but the small gauges get me. I just need practice, obviously. So this pattern has the option to do waist shaping, and I'm just about to come up to that point now. I am choosing to do it because I think it'll give a nice fit overall, and then really as a test, it's good to test out all the options that you can, I think. So hopefully this weekend I get through the body and I can then split for front and back. I'm really looking forward to working on those pieces. Hopefully by Sunday, we'll see if I manage to do that or not. I'm knitting this in the Sandnes Garn Petit Knit collab called Sunday. They actually already had a line called Sunday, but this is the Petit Knit colors. This colorway is called Raspberry Sorbet. How cute is that? And I have to say, this yarn, it held up to repeat froggings because of the whole ribbing situation without getting splitty at all. I was pleasantly surprised at how good it looks after all that. It's very soft and nice to knit with. It's 100% merino wool. And the only difference, I think, between the Petite Knit Sunday and the regular Sunday is the color range. And it's so good. I'll link the manufacturer's website so you can see it all there and how they describe it. Yeah, anyway, big fan of this yarn and really loving this pattern too. My only other whip right now is my beekeeper's quilt, and I have been working on the Mini Vee Tee when I usually work on my puffs, because I'm in the sea of stockinette right now, so it's safe to, which just means that I literally have 2 puffs. That's all this week. I'm so close to finishing the 3rd. Actually, here it is, but it's not finished. So I have 2, which brings my total to 561 puffs. My goal is 1,000 before I start putting it together again. I did try to put it together many years ago, but I quickly realized that I didn't have enough to make it be as big as I wanted it to be. This one is Forbidden Fiber sock. This one is half Hue Loco and half the same one as this. I wasn't really paying attention here when I was switching colors, I was doing during game night, purposely not really caring too much about when I switch the colors up, just to kind of use up more of this, and I already had this in the bag I was working on the table. I remember that the Hue Loco one is called Bashful because I loved it so much when I first saw it that I had to knit something out of it. And then there's a gray one. I honestly just don't remember because it's been a million years. But anyway, yeah, so I have 2. And I also have 2 secret whips that I can't show you, so I'm not counting them. One is a gift for one of my besties, and if she sees it, she'll immediately know that it's for her. And the other is a pattern of mine that I'm trying to perfect so I can actually release it, and I'm super excited about that, but I just want to finish it before I talk about it. So that's that. I have so much fun test knitting going on, and then so many fun upcoming test opportunities and my own pattern. So anyway, yeah, there's so much good stuff, and today was such a nice day out. All I want to do right now is drink iced tea and knit summer things and take Nacho for extra long walks. So that's what I'm gonna do because I'm sure it's probably gonna snow in a week again. We call this the false spring part of spring, so it'll be super nice for a week, and then it'll snow or be horribly cold and rainy, and then we'll get real spring. So we're in the false spring that I always enjoy because I know that it's fleeting. So as always, I want to hear all about your whips and cows and the yarn that you're madly in love with. I've been updating my website with fun stuff every week. I've been adding love letters to yarn that I love, doing powder notes on things that I knit and loved and wanted to like share details on, and just like more fun maker interviews are coming on the way too. So in the meantime, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel for more videos if you're new here, and follow me on Instagram to see daily whip updates and stories and things. I am Mrs. Shank Knits on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.